What's up, guys? We're back with the next videos. We're going to be going over some mother-in-law drama. So welcome back to Line With Us. Here we go.
My father-in-law and mother-in-law are currently getting a divorce because I myself decided to snitch after my mother-in-law decided not to mind her own business. A couple years ago, my husband decided to purchase a house 2 houses down from my in-laws. I was very pissed off, but I had no choice. I wasn't working. He was the breadwinner, so I said, whatever. Almost immediately, I had so many regrets. My mother-in-law was literally taking our food. I would make my husband and my children food for after their school, after work, and my mother-in-law would just make herself at home. She would come in with containers and start filling her containers up and taking it to her house. So my husband would come home from work and ask, "Where's the food? Did you make anything?" I said, "Yes, I did. Your mom just came and picked it all up in a container." Do you think my husband believed me? No, he did not.
That's crazy. If the mother-in-law is coming over and doing that, red flag, red flag, red flag. Because think about it. For you to make food, your mother-in-law comes across and takes it. Yeah. If she's the mother-in-law, what is she preparing for her husband? Because she did say that. She says the mother-in-law is having a divorce. So if that's the case so far, this is crazy. But let me rewind a little bit. Let's go.
And did. Your mom just came and picked it all up in a container. Do you think my husband believed me? No, he did not. Then my mother-in-law was mad because she said that I was wasting a lot of things that her son was buying for me. Like, I would throw away random, which I really was not throwing away. There was no way in hell. But she would go through my trash. And it's not like she picked everything up and put it back in the dumpster or the trash can. She would just leave it out. So I had a lot of raccoons. I had a lot of squirrels. I basically had the whole forest coming to my house so that they could eat the trash that my mother-in-law left on the ground. My final straw was a couple nights ago when my mother and father-in-law came over for dinner. My husband was asking me in front of them, "What do you want for your birthday? Because it's going to be this weekend." And I said, "Ooh, I've been wanting this really nice bag. Like, I don't really ask for anything, but that would be perfect. That would be amazing if you could get that for me." And then my mother-in-law chimes in and she says, "You know what, son? I don't think that's a good idea. I think that she just wants to spend money on stupid when you guys could be saving it for your kids. You should probably think about that because I think she just likes to waste your money." And then my husband said, "You know what? Maybe we should just buy something that we actually need or could use, not something like a bag or clothes or stuff like that. I just don't see any meaning in it, honey. Why don't you get something else?" I said, "No. Okay, you asked me. I just told you what I wanted. So that's what I want for my birthday. Period, point blank. I don't need anything else." I think I took...
That's valid. But one thing I would say is you don't argue with parents. You're a beautiful young lady. Don't argue with mother-in-laws or father-in-laws. You got the control. You got to know that. But let's proceed.
Like 2 seconds to realize that my mother-in-law was trying to screw me over and she was not minding her business. So I just decided to ask her. We'll just call her Karen for this video. I said, "Karen, didn't you tell my husband that you spent $30,000 behind your husband's back so that you could get your other children who are not his children birthday gifts and random that they don't even need? But you're over here telling my husband what he needs to buy me and what I need to actually want for my birthday? That's kind of crazy." My father-in-law's eyes.
Do I agree with this approach? No, because if you plan on being with this guy, in my point of view, that will always be a rocky relationship between, if that's his biological father and mother. You get what I'm trying to say? That will always be a issue of content. It was your call, but at the end of the day, there's some other ways that you could resolve that. I don't think you need to bring that up at such time, even though I know where you're coming from because it's valid, because this is the same woman that's giving you all this headache. But let you finish. I give my final thoughts at the end,
The whitest I have ever seen. His jaw, it was dropped. He was not happy. And so he asked, "What the do you mean? You told me that money went towards the mortgage and a bunch of other important for us because I've been working really hard for that money. So where did that money go?" And she had no other choice than to just admit and be honest and say, "Yeah, I gave it to my other kids. I'm sorry." And he said, "You know what?
Definitely, that's messed up." So it's one of those things where I could see, it got some ladies that see certain traits in other ladies. Could that be what the mother is doing? She's kind of, but mom messed up too. Mom is definitely messed up. Definitely messed up.
Don't be sorry. We're done. Because you have lied to me so many times during our marriage that I just can't do it anymore. So that's fine. Keep the $30,000 with your kids. I'm going to go pack my shit and I'm going to go stay with my family because I am not going to be with you anymore. And that's what happened. So do I feel bad? I mean, kind of, not really.
So I get her point, right? But I would go down the line of saying respect. I can't even say elders anymore because time has changed. Time has definitely changed. But what I could do say is it's hard in these times because that level of respect for like mother-in-laws and father-in-laws, that culture has definitely changed. So I might sound old-fashioned, but she do have some valid points where she's definitely saying, hey, the mother-in-law is sabotaging her. And you could clearly see it with some of these things. But to have certain information about their relationship and to reveal it, do I agree with that? No, because that's their business. Because that's their business. I don't have enough info to go off or explain that situation. But you got to remember, you already have the man, right? My suggestion would have been like, yeah, let mom say what she got to say. You put on that ski mask, right? You go in the bedroom late at night and pretend you're robbing a bank. What do they say when they run into the bank? Put the money in the bag. The next day he gonna wake up. He gonna want that same experience again. So he gonna go put that money in that bag. So that's how I would have looked at it. But, to each his own, to each his own. I think overall you got your head on your shoulders, but breaking up the family, right? Breaking up that family, it's gonna be contentious because you gotta remember, if that's the person you're gonna be with the rest of your life, that lady's still not out your life. That man is the father-in-law is still not out your life. You get what I'm trying to say? And if they do get back together, they gonna know you was the one that spilled the news. So that's the reason why I'm saying it like that, right? When it comes to family relationship, there's that dynamic where you don't want to be the one to break something up because if those people get back together, you know, they're always going to still dislike you. And you really don't want that. But there's a level and boundaries that people shouldn't cross, So mom shouldn't cross your boundaries. You shouldn't cross mom boundaries. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment. Appreciate it.